Hey guys, today we're taking a look at the Holosun AEMS. Let's get right into the first 30-second breakdown. That's where in the first 30 seconds, give or take, I gave you guys my exact thoughts on this product before we get into the full review. That way you can just stop watching because now you know exactly what I think about this product, or you can continue watching and find out why I say these things, and it does help out with the YouTube algorithm. So with this optic from Holosun, they have come out with a lot of new stuff in the last year or so and really trying to change things up, make things different. This is a more boxy style of optic. As you can tell, it has the backup solar panel, which is cool to always have that solar backup. It has these clear lenses as a backup, and I think that's really cool because if you get dirt or anything, debris, or you drop it, it has a little bit more durable protection. You can just drop that down and now you have a clear lens again. So it's almost like a backup lens, which I think is neat because a lot of companies just make the dark lenses in front of it, which do you no good. But if you have the clear ones, you can still at least see through them. If you have to, you just drop them and then you're still good to go. I haven't noticed any issues with parallax. It probably affects it a little bit, but nothing that I've noticed that I'm like, oh wow, holy crap, these lenses affect everything wildly. But they are a really nice addition. You have a side loading battery tray, which I really like, and I think every company should do. The buttons are really easy to use, just the two up and down. The sight itself has been very durable for me and has worked really well. It has the MRS, the multi-reticle system, so you have that 65 MOA circle and the dot in the middle, and you can rotate between those. If you just want the dot or just a circle, you can change that up depending what you prefer. A couple downsides to this, the fact that the mount itself, I'm not really a big fan of, and a lot of it is just because it's not aesthetically pleasing to me, and I don't know why it is. I don't know if it's just the angles and how it's designed, but to me, not wildly aesthetically pleasing. I don't know if that's the same for you guys, but I did have one issue where it did come loose. I had everything torqued properly and I just had to tighten it back down. Ever since then, I haven't had any problems, but just made me a little bit leery about it, and the fact that this has a proprietary footprint. I don't like when companies put something completely new for the footprint of their optic, because now you have to buy all new mounts when you could just have a footprint. And Holosun's done this in the past of you're running footprints from other companies, like the most common ones, like the RMR footprint with their pistol red dot optics. And I really like that because it's a really good, proven, and common footprint. So if you already have the mount or you already have your slide cut, you can just slap it on and switch it. Very rare are you gonna switch and recut your slide for a new optic, or have to now buy a brand new riser for this optic. So now that some more time has passed, there's been some more companies creating them, and I might buy something a little bit down the road. But when it first came out, there was pretty much no options for risers. You just had to rock what they gave you. So now that we went over that, let's get right into the full review and go over my relationship with Holosun. They did send me this optic, and I did not spend my own money on it. I've been a long time customer of Holosun. They have sent me some things. I've also bought a lot of things. So it's been kind of like a mix between, they send me things to test. I got the EPS and EPS carry early for me to test and review. And then some of the other optics I've purchased on my own, like the 403s that I have, the 509. But other than that, this one was sent to me by them. So now let's get into the full review and go more detail about all the things that I said about this optic. So you might be wondering why Holosun even created this optic. Where does it fit in? They already have kind of a boxy large optic like this. They have some smaller optics. What is the point of this? And to me, and what I'll say to that is I will never say no to more options, especially for a company that creates really good optics for a good price. Create all the ones you want. Keep making more designs as long as they're solid and they work really well, which this one does. I've never had any actual issues with the device electronics or it functioning. Keep creating different designs. Why not? I really like the slight additions, like the clear lenses, and I think what's really cool about that is the fact that you can throw these up, which I almost always have these up when I'm shooting. If something happens to it, you drop it, you have an extra layer of durability. Maybe this lens breaks and then you can bring it down and now your real lens is actually protected. Another sense is if you get a little debris, or depending where you're shooting, I've shot at some really crappy places where I'll show you some pictures here of my 509 that was just covered in dust and debris and sand. All you have to do is pop that down and suddenly your lens is now clear. And it's a really nice feature that I want more companies to take advantage of, because if you're gonna put covers on it, a lot of them just make them black and rubber. Why not just make them clear and see-through? Yeah, it's probably a little bit more expensive, I'm sure, because now they have to add lenses and stuff. But when it comes to an actual function use or a work side or a home defense use, I think it is a really cool feature to be able to pop these down. With it up, are you gonna notice a parallax difference? Most likely, if you're saying like scientifically, yes, it's gonna affect your parallax because now you have more lenses to look through, but to your eye and what you're using and looking through, you're probably never gonna physically notice that. But yes, technically it probably does affect it slightly, but are you gonna ever notice it? Most likely not. So this optic is not going to be really any different than what you're used to from Holosun if you're used to them. They have the solar backup, so you run out of battery life or don't have a battery, you can run this at daylight with a solar panel. You have side battery trays. It has 50,000 hours of battery life, so really good battery life, and you really shouldn't have to use a solar panel realistically. You have good controls, just the 2 buttons here on the side, up and down. You have night vision settings, and you have the MRS reticle, so you have that large circle, the 65 MOA, and then the small dot in the middle, and then you can rotate between just the dot, just the circle, or both of them. So a lot of the features that you're already used to from Holosun that you really, really like are still going to be in this, just in a new style of optic, which again, I'm always down for more styles and more options. I'm never going to complain when a company wants to come out with something more, as long as they're not slacking in quality. They're just creating more options on the market. Go for it every single time. And this one adds a couple little things like the lenses and just a different look. It's a large field of view, which is nice. I'll be putting here in the B-roll like all the specs and everything. I don't like just sit here and read off the specs because 1, you guys can read that on your own, and 2, I can just put it in the B-roll and you can read it off there as well. So now let's go over some of the cons that we went over. One of them being the mount. I did have an issue when shooting the other day that the mount came loose. I always torque my mounts to spec, and I did the same thing then because I have a torque wrench, and it did come loose. That was after probably about 800 rounds, came loose. I retightened it, haven't had any rounds or problems since, but I've only shot about 150 rounds since. So I will update you guys if there's any problem with that. And the aestheticness of it, I don't know why, but I have a problem. Excuse me, I've had this cough for like 2 years. I can't get rid of it. I have a problem with these, it's actually been 2 weeks, I'm just being dramatic. But the angles of it, and I don't know why. And this is probably just me, and some people are gonna be like, the mount is awesome, this is the best looking optic in the world, and it's all gonna be a personal preference thing, but to me, it isn't as aesthetically pleasing as I like, so I will probably end up changing it. I really hope Scalarworks ends up making a mount for this, because Scalarworks is my go-to for mounts, and I think this would look phenomenal on a Scalarworks mount. So I'm hoping they create something. The proprietary footprint is the kicker. I really wish companies would just stick to one footprint, and then you can just have that riser that you buy for all your guns or all your optics. You can then just rotate it if you upgrade, or you don't have to constantly figure out what footprint it has and find the right riser. Just wish they would all get on the same level. So I think that they should have stuck with what they were doing previously and doing other common footprints. I wish they would have done that with this one. So to me, I'm gonna throw that as a con. For the price tag, $400, can you really complain though? Because it does come with a mount and all these other really nice features. It's a really good price tag if you're trying to get a solid optic and not break your bank. And I know budgets are all different, and some people are gonna look at $400 and be like, holy crap, that's a ton of money. And some people are gonna look and be like, that's nothing, that's the cheapest thing in the world, it's garbage. That is going to be up to you, obviously. Everyone's budgets are different. Everybody's incomes are different, where you put your money. So I can't tell you, yes, this is a good price or not. I can just go off of what I think. And I think with what the market is right now, and where you have your higher end optics around that $1,000 mark and your cheaper optics around that $100 mark, I think a $400 optic for all the features is very good. With all that being said, I hope this video is able to help you make a better purchase decision and decide maybe this is exactly what you want, or maybe you should pass on it and go with something different. It's always my goal is to help you spend your money in the best way possible and not have to spend it twice and buy different optics because you got the wrong one for what was you. Is this going to work for everybody? Absolutely not. Is it a good optic? Absolutely. I don't think you're going to be mad with it if you purchase it, but I want to make sure to get you the best optic possible. If you ever have any questions about what accessories you should go with, I'm gladly help. I have to ask a lot of questions though when you ask it, so it's usually easier just to DM me on like Facebook or Instagram, because I usually like to ask like, what's your purpose? What are you using the optic for? What's your price range? What's your budget? Things like that, because then it helps me really narrow down exactly what optic it is that you want. You can throw it in the comments in YouTube and I'll try to help you, but it's just easier in private messaging because you can send pictures and different things like that. Other than that, if you guys are looking to help support the channel and the things I do here, a couple ways to do that in the description. There are some links to my website, and there are some discount codes from companies that I trust that you can use to save some money. A couple companies that support me and the things I do here are Howitzer and Brownells. Howitzer is a clothing company that donates 5% of proceeds to charity, and they donate a ton of money, and they have like shoes, jeans, a bunch of things on their website, jackets, sweatshirts, anything you can think of clothing wise, they pretty much make it, and they're all really high quality stuff, so definitely check them out. There's a link down in the description for their website. And then Brownells as well, you can save 10% on orders of $150 or more, and that is huge because they're like the Amazon of gun parts, and they have pretty much everything. They support me a ton in a lot of the builds that I do, and if you want to pick up any of these or the AEMS, you can save 10% on it, and that saves you $40. So definitely helps when buying accessories and different things. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I'll be happy to help.